What's up, guys? This is Storm, and welcome to another gaming news week. We have plenty of news to cover that happened over the week, so without further ado, let's get on with the news. To everybody's surprise, PlayStation has showcased a state of play for November. It was a surprise for everyone because this was not leaked, it was not mentioned, nobody didn't think we was gonna have one, but yeah, Sony dropped a state of play, but this one is different from previous state of play. This one was focusing mostly on Japan and Asia developers, so no Western devs then there, which a lot of people are saying are Sony focus or trying to regain the Japanese market after letting it go and having it fall to Nintendo with their Switch, which is not very surprising because when it comes to Japan, handheld sells more than consoles, so it is what it is with that. But of course, there was some people who not really didn't really like the state of play for what they shown off and stuff. Me personally, I can't be too upset about it. Like, I watched it and stuff, and they pretty much put the expectation of what to expect. Of course, some were expecting like certain games to make an appearance, like Phantom Blade Zero, Square Enix with Kingdom Hearts 4, or probably the third part for Final Fantasy VII Remake. But unfortunately, those did not make an appearance here. But they show some pretty good games that some people could be interested in. Definitely a big, diverse library of games. For me, I was excited to see the announcement for the DLC for Digimon Time Stranger. But with that being said, these are the games that were shown and the time frame of the release of them set to come out. Alright, this list, it looks like to be in order. We got Dragon Quest VII, Reimagined February 5th, 2026. Inokobini One Store, I don't know if I pronounced that right, that comes out April next year. Coffee Talk Tokyo, March 5th of next year. Broken Lore Unfollowed, January 16 next year. Broken Lore Ascend, summer 2026. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake, March 12th. Dynasty Warrior Origin DLC drops January 22nd. Gran Turismo Spec 3 and Power Pack is set to come out by the end of this year. Motor Wreck spring next year. Wandering Sword May 28th. No Sleep for Academy date AI Somnium Files February 26th. Tokyo Extreme Racer February 26th. Sonic DLC Pack Pac-Man World Repack 2 that was dropped the same day of the state of play. Once Upon a Katamari Damacy that has no release date but is coming out on the PS5. Monster Hunter Wilds update dropping December 16. Super Robot Wars Y DLC November 21st of this year. Sonic Racing Cross World SpongeBob comes out November 20th. Nevergrey March 5th, 2026. Blaze Through Entropy Effect February 12th. Damon and Baby early 2026. Aquarium Moccasin January 29th. Octopath Traveler 0 December 4. Marvel Token Fighting Souls is having another open beta that is set to come out. I believe it says open beta, but I think it's actually a closed beta, but that's set to be from December 5th to the 7th. Elden Ring Night Rain The Forsaken Hollows, which is a DLC for Night Rain, comes out December 4th. PlayStation even actually showed a new QHD monitor that'll be supported with PC and the console. It comes with a DualSense charging hook for Japan. It's a QHD IPS display up to 1440p resolution, so players can game at a comfortable viewing distance from the desk. High dynamic range support with audio HDR tone mapping, automatically adjusts HDR settings during setup on PS5 and PS5 Pro consoles, ensuring rich, vivid picture quality. VRR support with refresh rate of up to 120 Hz for smooth and seamless gameplay on PS5 and PS5 Pro console, with 240 Hz on compatible PC and Mac devices, built-in charging hook for DualSense and DualSense Edge wireless controller that is sold separately, and that makes it easier for players to get right into the gaming. I will post more about the monitor from the PlayStation blog in the description. You want to read through it, but that's mostly what the device, what the monitor could do. There's no pricing for it yet. That's gonna come at a later date. So if you're was in the market for a new monitor and stuff, it's 27 inches. It does 1440p 120 on PS5 and PS5 Pro and can do 240 on PCs and Mac. So there's that. I also did talk about the whole Digimon DLC that's also was announced, that's set to come out winter. So there's no like exact day of release, but it's gonna be basically like an alternate story with 5 new Digimons and stuff, so that's pretty cool. And also they showed off a new PS5 bundle that costs 55,000 yen for Japan. It's regional lock, and I believe it's all digital. I could be wrong about the regional lock thing, but it's an all digital PS5, and it costs around, converting that to US price, that's $350, which is pretty good deal, honestly. I believe it's have 825 memory space, so it's not a terabyte, but still $350, which is a pretty good price, especially try to get Japanese gamers to convert to the PS5, or at least have a PS5 also in their in the house and stuff. So yeah, overall that was pretty much all the stuff that was shown at the state of play. It had like mixed reactions. Some people said they didn't really like what they showed. Some people say like, hey, this was like a sole focus for Japanese market and stuff, like, which I can't get really get mad at, because they're trying to regain the Japanese market, because Nintendo has that on lock. So they're trying to at least make a comeback, because PlayStation is already good when it comes to the US and Europe. They want back their home turf, which I can't get mad at, honestly. So that was PlayStation State of Play for the month of November. We have an interview with Todd Howard, who is the head for Bethesda and the one behind the Fallout games. He had an interview with the Video Game Chronicle, and he pretty much said that Elder Scrolls VI is still a long way off, and this was his exact quote. I'm preaching patience. I don't want fans to feel anxious. I like to just announce stuff and release it. My perfect version. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, is that it's going to be a while, and then one day the game will just appear. Elder Scrolls 6 had been in development for a really long time, and I believe it was announced, let me check real quick. It was announced since, where is it? It's been active development, have entered pre-production in 2018. So it kind of sounds like this was sitting on the back burner. Like, this thing been 7 years. It's been 7 years since Elder Scrolls 6 was announced. It's been 7 years, so that is a long development time. But of course, there's been other development times that have been way longer than this and stuff. But it's just kind of weird, like, why announce the game, and by the looks of it, what it says right here that it after production started like in 2023, which started after the release of Starfield. So it kind of sounded they were working on Elder Scrolls 6. Then they took a break to work on other IPs like Fallout 4, not Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Starfield. But I guess now Starfield is out. They're now putting back their focus into Elder Scrolls 6. But I don't know, honestly. Like, it's not unheard of. We've seen developers announce games way early than they should and stuff. And it's unfortunate that it happened, but it mostly happened because stuff happened that they don't see coming. So the fact that the announcement's already out there and stuff, it kind of put them in the bad spot because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So they could ran into some development problems, maybe trying to make a whole new engine for the game. It's kind of hard to say at this point, but if he says that they're working on it and fans are still willing to wait for it, then yeah, they gotta just keep on waiting for it and stuff. And I believe it was also said when the whole like trial thing, when the whole purchase of Activision Blizzard was a whole thing, and so I believe like damn, what was the old Jim Ryan? There we go. I believe Jim Ryan was asked if like Elder Scrolls 6 would come to PlayStation, and he said he didn't know since Microsoft owns Bethesda and stuff. So he doesn't know if it would come to the PlayStation because by its sound, they never made like a deal with Todd Howard to put it on their platform, or maybe they tried to get like an exclusive deal with it and Todd Howard said no. It honestly could be that exact reason, but we'll see what happens in the future. Like rumor is it's probably gonna be shown off at the Game Awards. So, and we're for all intents and purpose, it could come out next year. So we'll just see what happens at the Game Awards. That's next month right now. We got some pretty good news about the PlayStation Portal. This comes after the big update that allowed up to streaming your PlayStation game library, thus resulting you not need to be nearby your PS5. And this comes from Tech Radar from an interview with the Sony senior manager overseeing the PlayStation Portal. He says, the handheld is now the most widely used device for the PS5 remote play, surpassing PC, PS4, PS5, and mobile. The PlayStation Plus Portal engagement is looking good. He goes into more details, saying that before we launched the Portal, some questions whether there would be demand for it. However, we're seeing the community response have been overwhelming, says senior manager Takuro Fushishimi. Our data shows that PlayStation Portal users are more engaged than non-users. The PlayStation Portal has now become the most widely used device for the PS5. So, I believe it's safe to say that the PS5 Portal is a success, and it's the fact it's not a traditional handheld. Well, it is a handheld, but it's like a PlayStation treated more as a PS5 accessory than its own official handheld, like how the Switch is, which is really, it sounds like it's a really good is a really good device. I think I'm about to think about getting one also, because I've been on the fence when it comes to PS5 Portal, because I be thinking, what am I gonna use it for, since I don't really go on vacation like that, because I believe that would probably be the most reason I would use it for. But even then, I don't really go out on vacation, and if I go outside my house, I'm doing some other things. So I think probably now I could find a reason to use the device, and for $200, pretty not bad. Pretty not bad deal in my opinion. Uh, we're gonna see what more plans that PlayStation will have for the PS5 Portal. If anything, this kind of tells you that Sony might definitely push for a handheld, like a dedicated handheld device for their families, because clearly they like the PS Plus, PlayStation Plus Portal. So if they're liking the Portal, that means there is a market for it. Maybe not that much for the West, but definitely for the Japanese market, because look at the Switch. Like, mobile devices and handhelds thrive in the Japanese market, so this could basically tell them, yeah, make a dedicated handheld. And so, like, even the PSP didn't do bad when it originally came out, because I believe like the PlayStation Vita was not the best, but when the first ever PSP, I believe it did over 80 mil. So that's pretty not bad for their first time doing a handheld device, honestly. So if they're able to do it again and just look at the stuff that they've run with the Vita and just do a better job at it, like supporting it, I think it could honestly thrive in today's market. Valve shook the gaming community by announcing a new Steam machine, basically a Steam PC console that is set to release early next year. It said the Steam machine is a 6-inch gaming cube that runs SteamOS, connects to your TV, 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck. And when this came out, a lot of people was wondering, should Sony and Xbox be worried? Because basically, this thing will let you play all your games on Steam, and also have like PS5 and the Xbox games on the Steam thing. Also, if people have bought those games through Steam, so people are wondering what will be Xbox and PlayStation response to this, and will this make a difference in any way? Basically, asking, is this Steam coming into the gaming? Basically, could this be like a new competitor in the, what some people say, the console war when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation? Some people say no. Some people it could be some, but we don't know for sure. We don't know the price for it yet, and I haven't really looked at the specs, but what it looks like is not as strong as the PS5 and the Xbox Series 8. It's probably somewhere around there and stuff. And if the price is high, what a lot of people think it will be, because some people believe this is like between um like from 400 to 500 price. Some probably think it's gonna be more than that. So it's kind of hard to say where would this fall. But if the price is high, a lot of people probably not gonna get this, because in that case, if you gonna spend that much money, you might as well just build a PC and just go from there. So we'll find out what's going to happen next year. Possibly at the Game Awards, they might reveal the price of it and how will games look running on it. But we just gotta wait and see, honestly. The PlayStation Plus extra titles for November, we have GTA 5 making a return, Pacific Drive, Still Wakes the Deep, Insurgency Sandstorm, Thank Goodness You're Here, Talos Principle 2, Monster Jam Showdown, MotoGP 25, and for the PlayStation Plus Premium Classics, we're again the Tomb Raider Anniversary. But with a special surprise, Rockstar also threw in Red Dead Redemption, which kind of boosts the theory that Red Dead Redemption is going to get a PS5 and Xbox Series X upgrade. Most likely a remaster for the game that make it be able to run at 60 FPS. It's kind of interesting that they did this after the news of GTA 6 being delayed, but it's kind of funny. But yep, those are your PlayStation Plus extras for November. Tomorrow is the Game Awards 2025 nomination special. This is where we'll see what games have been chosen to be nominated in different categories. And the one that people are looking forward to is the ones that will be nominated for the Game of the Year. There are usually 6 choices when it comes to the Game of the Year category. So, what game are you guys hoping that will make the cut for the 2025 Game of the Year nomination? We have, I think it's pretty much a guaranteed, Dispatch and Expedition 33 will make the cut. Like, this year has some crazy big hitters when it comes to games. Like, we had Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding 2, Expedition 33, Dispatch, what was that game from that studio that made It Takes Two? I honestly can't remember the name of the game, but you probably know what I'm talking about. There have been a lot of games that came out this year alone. So, there's like Sword of the Sea. Like, there's a lot of surprising games could make the cut, because last year we had Astrobot, freaking Elden Ring. We had Black Myth Wukong, Balatro. So this year it's definitely going to be difficult to see which one's going to win Game of the Year. To see which one will be chosen for the Game of the Year nominees. Because, like, shoot, this year is difficult. I can only imagine the choices for next year. Like next year alone, we got Soros, Crimson Desert, possibly GTA 6 if it doesn't get delayed again, Marvel Wolverine, and those are just some of the ones that we know so far. Like, I could low-key see a Ninja Gaiden making it this year, to be honest. And what's that game? Um, was it like Kingdom Come Deliverance? I believe that was a game also. I could be wrong about the name, honestly, but yeah, that's a game. So hopefully, hopefully people won't get mad on what game makes the cut and what doesn't. Honestly, because you can't really be mad because there were a lot of big heavy hitters. So the game that you was hoping for that don't make the cut for Game of the Year, please don't get mad or say rigged and all that. Because when it comes down to the Game Awards, it's basically just a popularity contest. So yeah, especially how people been talking about Expedition 33. I'm not gonna lie, I'll be shocked if it's not nominated for Game of the Year. Like, only just because how people is talking about it, I'll be surprised if it doesn't win. If it doesn't get nominated for the Game of the Year. And this batch just recently came out, so that is the talks. They are the gaming. They're in the gaming discussion right now because the final last two episodes just came out, and could be potentially a possibility for a season 2. And the game sold over 1 million in a little over a week. So yeah. Anyway, in the end, congrats whoever get nominated for this year's Game of the Year. Reported Ubisoft has postponed its earning report, temporarily halted trading of its shares, will publish and resume in the coming days. This may or may not mean a big announcement in terms of the company. There's a lot of speculation why Ubisoft had delayed the reports of their earning calls. One speculation is somebody had bought Ubisoft. Now, if somebody had bought Ubisoft, that low-key will be wild to hear. But we don't know if this is entirely true right now. It is a rumor, but it does raise question why Ubisoft delayed their announcement of their earning call. I guess we just had to find out and see what's going on with Ubisoft, because Ubisoft, they're in a weird situation when it comes to their financial stuff, especially how some of their games turning out, especially when you look at Skull and Bones. And apparently there was like reports that they was working on the Splinter Cell game, but it got canceled to do their now defunct X-Defiant game, which is pretty wild. Like, some people said that it's not true. Like, can you imagine if it was true? Like, bruh, people been asking Ubisoft for a Splinter Cell game. Like, they've been asking Ubisoft for a Splinter Cell game more than people been asking PlayStation for a remastered of Bloodborne. It is beyond crazy if they canceled Splinter Cell that a lot of people been asking for just to do X Defiant, and X Defiant is basically donezo. So I guess we'll see how long will it take for Ubisoft to announce their earning calls, like how much they earn for the year, or for the quarter. But we just have to wait and see. For all we know, It's probably a lot. It's probably lower than a lot of people think it would be. But either way, it is kind of bad if that's the case. PlayStation has announced two mobile games. One is called Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble, and the other one is Horizon MMO Steel Front MMORPG Steel Frontier, also for mobile. This news just came out of nowhere and stuff, and a lot of people are surprised, but also very upset because the mobile games are only for um, mobile basically, and there's like a weird thing when it comes to PC, except for PC. But this how some people say like it's not like native PC, it's like an emulator for PC. I don't know. I don't know much about tech, uh, that kind of tech stuff. But anyway, people were upset that it's not coming to the PS5. So of course, this caused some type of uproar in the PlayStation community. Basically, some people say like, why Sony did this to their console, especially on the PS5 fifth anniversary. In some instances, yeah, I could see why they are upset, and it's not surprising because like Sony had been saying they were gonna do stuff for bring I make like I expand their stuff to other stuff like when it comes to mobile, just so people could. Basically, Sony has this thing. They're trying to reach out to that audience and to bring them into the PlayStation ecosystem. So it'd be like, hey, mobile players, you probably never heard of this, but check out this game called Ratchet and Clank, and they'd be like, oh, sweet, they got to try it out, they play it, and they're liking it, and they're like, yo, I actually like this game. What it called, Ratchet Clank? There's other games like it. Yeah, there are other games like it. You can find it here on the PlayStation Store. We got you're a PlayStation Plus. You get access to all the other Ratchet and Clanks games that came out during the PS2 and the PS3 era, and you also get to try out the Ratchet and Clank that is a remaster of the original first game on the PS4, and also try out the latest game from the main story, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, that's on the PS5 and PC. So if those games interest you, come to our ecosystem. That what PlayStation plan on doing when it comes to their games. In some instances, it could potentially work and stuff. And of course, the developers who's behind all this mobile stuff, they saying they don't make the decision. They basically said they will be happy to bring it to the PS5, but it just what PlayStation says. Like it comes down to them at the end of the day. So some people wonder like why would PlayStation do this and stuff, which is in some instances I can understand, but at the same time I find it funny, especially when it comes to the whole Horizon one, because a lot of people shitted on Horizon and Forbidden West. Like some of them are like cringeworthy, be like, oh, why am I playing as her? She's boring. She's like so monotone. And don't even get started on Forbidden West when they saw that you could have a choice to have some type of relationship with a female character that appeared in Horizon Forbidden West. Is literally a dialogue choice. You could choose to kiss her or not to kiss her, and for some reason, people made a whole big deal about it because they believe it push an agenda. If you look at Aloy character, like there was some instance that she was low key like catching feels for a guy. So I don't know how this whole oh, she always been like this. Like there's time that Aloy don't know how to interact with somebody of the opposite sex. Like, I don't know. People always been trying. I always saw people always try to find reason to hate Horizon. You don't like the game, you don't fucking like the game. Like, there are some you could criticize about Horizon, but there's some stuff like the criticism is outrageous and don't make no type of sense whatsoever. But that's how I feel. So, would these games could potentially come to PS5? They can. I guess PlayStation wants to see how well these games do on mobile, then probably bring it to the PS5, because I guess if someone said they don't want to spend money to bring it to their console if it's not going to do well on mobile, because at that instant you're just wasting money, so what would be the point of it? But we'll wait and see. I did sign up for the registry to try out the Ratchet & Clank multiplayer rumble and stuff. I'm definitely gonna need to get like a backbone for my phone to try it out, because if I gotta play a multiplayer game like this on my phone, I'm definitely gonna need the backbone so it feels like I'm playing with a controller. And I do have this thing on my phone that I'm able to broadcast whatever on my phone to my TV, so I could theoretically play this game on my TV so I can have a bigger screen. So, hey, in the end, I'm perfectly fine with it. They want to branch to more people to get more people into the ecosystem. If this is their idea of doing it, then yeah, I'm not too upset about it. I got other games to play. So, and they did say that the devs for the Horizon is gonna be making the multiplayer, and the big multiplayer for Horizon is still in the works. They said it's still being worked on. So this game for the mobile is not the multiplayer game that a lot of people think it is. This is just a totally separate game altogether. And the group did confirm that Horizon Forbidden West have sold over 40 million as a franchise. So Horizon Zero Dawn, I believe it counts for, yeah. So Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, Lego Horizon, and Horizon the VR one, I believe that also counts also. As a franchise, it have sold 40 million, which is amazing. Those are amazing, because it's kind of funny for people that hate, for people that don't like Horizon, it sold 40 million. So I definitely gonna need to look to see, like, comparing it to other PlayStation franchises, because like you got like Gran Turismo, they as a franchise it sold over 100 million, which is nice. Don't know about God of War, but I have a feeling it's up there, because like I think I believe that like the God of War 2018 and Ragnarok probably sold a large portion of that, because PlayStation games wasn't really selling that big until like the PS4 generation, other than Gran Turismo and stuff. So yeah, all that is very nice. We're gonna end off this video going over PlayStation Sony financial reports, and I want to thank Genki JPN for compiling all these stuff for every single thing that we reported in the financial reports, and also from the interviews from a PlayStation CFO. Alright, So, for the PlayStation financial reports for the FY 2025 Q2, it says that the PS5 units sold 3.9 million. The lifetime sales of the PS5 units is 84.2, which means the PlayStation now have surpassed I believe it's the Game Boy Advance and the Xbox 360. Full game software units is 80.3 million. First party software units is 6.3 million. Digital download ratio is 72%, and the monthly active users is 119 million, which is all very impressive. Also from Circana, which is a group that follows software sales when it comes to physical. I believe they also starting to do digital and bundles and stuff. And for the anniversary of the PS5 launch, they reported the top 10 selling games for PlayStation from November 12, 2020 to October 4th of 2025. And they put Call of Duty Black Ops 6 with number 1, Marvel Spider-Man 2 was number 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was number 3, EA Sports College Football 25 to number 4, Modern Warfare 3 to number 5, Hogwarts Legacy with number 6, God of War Ragnarok with number 7, Spider-Man Miles Morales with number 8, and NBA 2K25 with 9, with 2K24 was number 10. So pretty impressive that Marvel Spider-Man 2 has surpassed two Call of Duty games and three sports games, which is still very impressive. So overall, PlayStation had 3 of their first party games took 3 spots in their top 10 for 5 years of their top selling, which is all very nice. But now, on to a next one that was said. Their financial report also reported that Ghost of Yotei has sold 3.3 million copies in 1 month, which shows all that boycott stuff failed miserably. And it shows that Ghost of Yotei is selling on par with Ghost of Tsushima, which had a pretty good advantage to it with the whole lockdown, so allow more people to stay indoors and playing video games. And it was sold on a more player base, with the PS4s sold over 100 million during that time. So overall, congrats to Ghost of Yotei for selling big. And of course some people say, oh, it sold less than Ghost of Tsushima in its first week. But it took Ghost of Tsushima 5 months to sell 5 million copies. And Ghost of Yotei sold 3.3 million in just 1 month. And some people are saying, oh, they don't believe the numbers and stuff. But it's kind of funny. They were asking for a number and they said they didn't believe it until Sony says it. Now Sony said how much it was, and they're still not believing it. Like, bro, you can't win against these dudes. But we gotta move on from that. From the interviews from Sony CFO Lin Tao, these are like bullet points that she said. She said that Marathon is still scheduled to launch by the end of March 2026. So Marathon is still coming out at some point. She also said that Sony's. It was also said that she said that the PS5 is only in the middle of its life cycle, and they want to expand the life cycle even further. Her direct quote is, "Our view that compared to conventional console life cycle, looking at the PS4 life cycle, it seems to be getting longer and longer, especially the PS4, which was launched in 2013. It has been over a decade since then, but there are many active users enjoying the console. So from that perspective, we believe that the PS5 is only in the middle of the journey, and they are really planning to expand it even further." So, yeah. So by the time the PS6 come out, you best believe there still will be games coming out for the PS5, which is perfectly fine because some people even said that the PS5 didn't get to, never got a chance to fully expand because of the whole life cycle situation being so long of the PS4. And so since devs are still making for the PS4, when it comes to the Xbox Series X and the PS5, devs are not taking full advantage of the power that these consoles have. So, yeah, I can't really complain with that. Um, she also said that she is disappointed when it comes to Bungie. She said Destiny 2 performance did not reach their expectations, leading to a loss of their balance sheets. Also says if Marathon and Destiny do not perform, the loss will not impact their overall game business. Destiny 2 game performance did reach the expectation we had when we acquired Bungie. Marathon is going to be launched, and Destiny 2, if the performance is not going to reach what we expect, of course there is a risk of impairment loss, but we don't believe that this will impact the whole game segment, at least at this point in time. Yeah, I think this just goes to show Bungie was the worst purchase that Sony could ever make. I can understand their vision, but overall, Bungie had been a big disappointment overall. So, whatever going on with Bungie, they need to fix it. Plain and simple, they need to fix it. She further on says that they plan to reach 90 million PS5 sold by the end of the year. They're currently at 84.2 million, so only have to sell 6 million units over the holiday to achieve this goal, which it seems they're almost certain to do. Yeah, I could possibly see them selling 6 million to hit the 90 million stretch goal because they had that whole state of play that showed they're selling a PS5 digital for $350 in Japan. You got the Black Friday also that's coming up, Cyber Monday. There are going to be deals when it comes to PS5, so they could potentially hit that 90 million. Japan definitely going to be the bigger push, especially when it comes to the whole with the whole price cut for the Japanese PS5. There could be some that are going to come to the PS5 just for the games that are coming out. Like, if GTA would have came out this year, that would definitely push the PS5 stuff. But since that's delayed to next year, basically they had to go. They got to rely on the Black Friday and the games that are going to be shown on during the Game Awards. If they show games that you cannot play on the PS4 and you would need the PS5, like that definitely could do it. Like people would definitely do it when it comes to like Marvel Wolverine, because that thing, the viewership when it got revealed on YouTube was extremely high. Like I believe in a week or two it had over 7 million views. So, and that could be a thing. And speaking of Wolverine, she says that Wolverine from Insomniac is their first party tentpole title for their next year. It will provide a upside for Sony. So yeah, they're basically saying Marvel Wolverine is their big hitter for first party next year. Of course, they got Shoros, and we don't know what else they have planned for next year. But since Marvel Wolverine coming out of fall next year, that is like their tentpole game for next year because it's a Marvel IP, of course. So just it being Wolverine alone will make it sell. And they also said, and was also Sony highlighted a focus on single player AAA titles like Death Stranding 2 and Ghost of Yotei as key part of its PlayStation Studio business, which showed that Sony is going back to their roots. They tried to bank on games as a service, but it did not work out very well for them. It definitely did not work out for them in the long run. So they're going back to what they know best, which is their single player AAA IPs, which fans come and know and love. And to end off this news, one of Sony heads, Eric Lempel, who is the head of global marketing, said that PS5 biggest selling game hasn't even released yet. So they have basically they have an ace that have not been released yet, and it's going to be their biggest selling game yet. So what game could that be? There is a lot of possibilities. It could be Marvel Wolverine. Like he doesn't say is a game that have not been revealed yet, but it's something that is going to be their biggest seller. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited for what PlayStation have coming forward? Are you excited for the Game Awards that's coming? Let me know in the comments below. And this is Storm. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your week. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.